Alright guys, welcome back to another video. Again, a video that I didn't want to be making, but I feel like supporting Blues. These sort of videos are inevitable, but I feel like it's something that we need to talk about because I feel like, frankly, a lot of Blues fans are getting sick and tired of the way that the club is being run. And I feel like we've been so patient, so patient. So, I'm going to be talking about that. There's no real script to today's video. I'm just going to be venting a lot, and I want to start a sort of dialogue down in the comments with you guys just to see how you're feeling about it. I've sort of ignored it. I haven't had a chance to really digest what's been happening. Before we get into this video anyway, I just want to give a big shout out to OneFootball. Just want to say a big shout out to our friends over at OneFootball. It's the ultimate platform for football fans across the world with everything you need from scores, fixtures, player stats, articles and social posts all in one place. If you want to check it out, you can download it using the first link in the description. So before I get started, there was a Twitter account and a sort of movement set up by the people at We Are Birmingham, and Almagir has been involved as well, a man who's done a lot of good work, a lot of good investigative reporting. They're trying to make something happen, and I'll always respect that because as fans of this football club, we need to take action when things like this happen. I feel like, like being a relatively young Birmingham City fan, people might look at me and say, you know, we've been through worse times. We had the Kumars and so on. You know, we've had times that my dad will know about. My dad will have been through, and they'll say it's been so much worse than this. But the thing is, I feel like just because it's been worse in the past, it should not be an excuse, or it should not excuse what's going on at the minute. It shouldn't mean that we should have to accept what's going on right now. Now, by all means, I'm not going to be boycotting the games or anything, but I feel like as fans, it's our responsibility to stand up and say when we've had enough and when things are going wrong. And you know, there's people at the top, Mr. King, Mr. Zhao. I don't know if they've got bosses as well, but if what's actually happening at the club isn't being reflected in the right light to these people, you know, if they're seeing it through rose-tinted glasses, then it's going to be a lot harder to make change. And I feel like if we stand up, we start talking about it, we start kicking off, we go to the games, but we chant about them, you know, we chant about these things, we protest, then something might change. The news that kicked a lot of this off, even though the 1875 account was made beforehand, was the fact that we seem to have breached financial fair play rules again. From my understanding, a plan was put in place for us to follow after we'd been given the 9-point deduction. And it sort of followed through into January as well. I don't know if it was linked to the fact that we didn't sell in January. The main player that would have made a difference here would have been Che Adams. Now, you can look at it one way and say, if we'd have sold Che Adams in January, we would have got pennies for him. We would have got a lot less money for him. So we've held out till the summer and sold him for a good amount of money. But on reflection, for the time period that the EFL are looking at, it just looks really bad. And now, one part of me is angry with the EFL because I feel like it's just like us again. There are so many other teams that are using loopholes, doing so many different things, and seem to be getting away with financial fair play. And I tell you what, if we've broken the rules, then fair play, we should be punished for it. But I feel like not only just that, it's the managerial side of things as well. It's the way that the club is being run. People aren't happy with the results at the minute. People are saying Pep Klotic should go. But when you look at it, that will never change anything. How many new managers have we had? How many cycles of the same thing have we had happen over and over again? You can't keep doing the same thing and expecting different results. I think there are a few issues that need to be resolved, a few issues that need to be talked about. One is the lack of communication between the senior people at Birmingham City, the board of directors and the fans. I feel like there's been so much work into connecting the players with the fans during the Monk era, and the club, building that connection between the club and the fans, and that was really brilliant. And the work that Claire Bowden and Davo have done, amazing. But we need to take that one step further and think there has to be a line of communication between the people at the top. There has to be transparency as well. You know, this can be their thing, this can be their toy for however long they want it to be. But as fans, this is what we are. This is our club. This is our culture. It's our city. And you know, I feel like we're being kept in the dark about things sometimes, which really does frustrate me. And it's only when things come out in the press and the inevitable news stories come out, such as the FFP thing. We're just like, it's come out of the blue, and we just get kicked in the teeth again with it, I suppose. It's not really good enough. Personally, I'm trying to think what's the best solution for this as Blues fans. I feel like we've just got to make a communication, some sort of... We've got to be vocal on our side, because they're not. They're clearly not. And I feel like the first major issue that we can see is that, in my opinion, the way that Dong Ren is running the club, the way that he goes about his business in terms of having his own office at West Hills. You know, Almagir went on to say things about... apparently there's a tactic board in Dong Ren's office. I mean, there's a whole article about it by Almagir, which I'll link down in the comments, which pretty much sums it up. But forgetting about financial fair play at the minute, if we're going to move anywhere as a club, because clearly the way that the club is being run at the minute isn't working. We're slipping towards the relegation zone. Having, you know, done okay in the transfer market. Yes, we didn't get a striker, but on paper, our squad is a lot better than it is currently performing. Clearly, the manager's not right. But if that changes, is the next manager going to have Dong Ren in his ear saying, play this person, use this tactic, this is what you need to do, breathing down his neck? If you're a manager, you don't want that to happen anyway. How are we going to bring in anyone respectable? Everyone's been saying Chris Hughton. Chris Hughton's the man for the job. Great. But he left because of the state of our ownership, and it's only got worse. And how bad is it going to get before it starts getting better? Will changes be made? Will they have to sell the club? Will we have to get relegated? These are all things that we just don't know. It's really frustrating as a Blues fan, because we deserve to be up there. Let's face it. We're the second city. We're a big club. We should be much higher up than we are. But we've been through bad times. We know it. And we're not moaners. We're not really moaners. But I feel like enough is enough. So we could get fined. It's been apparent that over Twitter, it's been made apparent that we won't get hit with the points deduction again, but it's just not healthy. It's not looking good that we constantly have to be worrying about these things, these sanctions, this sustainability. Our accounts came out not long ago. Again, you can check out Almagir's tweets for everything to do with that, and it just doesn't look good. Where's the sustainability? Something's got to be done though, because we will turn into another Portsmouth, another Blackpool, and this club doesn't deserve that. These fans don't deserve that. No club deserves to be passed on to owners that haven't got a clue what they're doing, that are hiring the wrong people, and are doing the wrong things to save face. Clearly not working, is it? If we sack Pep Clottit, I feel so sorry for the next manager that's going to take his place. I guarantee it won't be Chris Hughton. I guarantee it probably won't be a manager that we've heard of. When are things going to start getting better for Blues? I'm always quite the optimist with things, and I always think, okay, a plan's in place. We've got, we recruited well. We're going to look forward a few years, slowly tweak the team, work on a style that suits us. But those things can only happen if managers are allowed the freedom to do what they know, what they know how to do. Managers have to be given freedom, and I think we have to start. I think we genuinely, as much as I love this club, as much as I'd love any opportunity to work with the club or whatever, and by slating the owners, slating whatever, I'd probably never ever be able to work with the club. But it's an absolute joke. We won't have a club if this keeps going on. And I've spoke to Dong. I went to the St Andrews homeless sleep out. He explains things. He talks. He's a good talker. He's good with words. You know what I mean? Friendly guy. Doesn't seem to have a bad bone in his body. But clearly, the way he runs things, he's annoyed managers in the past. From what it looks like, I just don't think he's the right man for the job. He needs to get out. We need someone in that position that at least knows football, but at least has some competence about him to let a manager do their job without interference. Don't interfere with them, or else what is the point getting a manager with years of experience, with ideas, with a plan in place when they can't implement it because you're in their ear when one result goes the wrong way? The change that these owners are looking for takes years. It takes tweaking. It's going to go wrong sometimes. But you do see gradual progression. Are we seeing that at the minute? No, we're not. That's why Pep ain't right for the job. But I'm not all about, Pep out, sack Pep. It's about Dong Ren out. It's about Ganan Zheng out. And even then, who are they going to bring in? They have to really take a look at this. If they are interested in making Blues a big club again, in taking them to the Premier League again, they have to be accountable for their actions. They have to look at it and change it before it's too late. You can't ignore the problems that are happening. And for God's sake, be transparent with the fans, because without the fans, football is nothing. There is nothing without the fans. This video didn't have a lot of a point to it. It didn't have a script. It didn't have bullet points. It didn't have anything. I just wanted to say what I needed to say. Twitter, hashtag TTA out. That's what you got to do. Get Trillion Trophy Asia out of this club. It's not as simple as that. I don't know what the solution is. Again, I keep saying, I just don't know where this club's going at the minute. But the one thing that we will do is we will always be what Blues fans are, and that's passionate, that's loud and loyal. And in the face of adversity, you got to stick together. We'll come out the other side of this, and it's not the end of the world. It really isn't the end of the world. But I'm just sick of it. I'm absolutely sick of this cycle. Something's got to change. But guys, let me know down in the comments below what you think needs to change at Birmingham City. How do we get out of this? Who's in the wrong? And if you want to find out the specific details on things, I didn't want to take credit for Almagy's work or whatever. So go and check out his Twitter account, because he's got all the information about the financial fair play stuff. Make sure you go and follow 1875 UK on Twitter. They've done an open letter to Mr. Zhao to try and just get a response. I don't know, anything. But it's time for us to take action. What that action's going to be, I'm yet to find out. But we have to make sure that Blues fans have a voice. Every single one of us. That's it from me. That's honest. That's it. I will be back on a more positive note soon. But I had to vent, man. I had to vent. Typical Blues, eh? See you later.